Salam Sejahtera Doctor. My name is Siwei Hong. My number is S69928. Now I'm going to present my ICE individual assignment. First of all, click on the blank database, rename it, and then create. Next, I'm going to create 4 tables to key in these data sets, which is customer, inventory, sales, and sales inventory. First, click on the view, design view, and rename the table as the customer. Okay. For the field name, for the first, we write the customer ID. Data type is short text. Second is customer name, short text. Third is city, short text. State, and last is credit limit. For this database, data type is currency. Then we move the fourth column and delete the primary key. Then we save. Now I'm going to build the others table by repeating the steps. After that, I'm going to continue to key in the data. Now I have finished added all the data into the table. After that, I'm going to answer all the queries below from question A to question L. Before that, I'm going to create the primary key for the customer inventory and sales. First, go to the view. For the customer ID, click on primary key and save it. For the inventory also, save sales. Now I'm going to create a relationship between these 4 tables. First, click on the database to relationships and add this 4 table. First, link the item ID between inventory table with the sales inventory table. Next, link the invoice between sales inventory table with the sales table. Last, link the customer ID between sales table with the customer table. Then save. Now I'm going to answer the queries from the A to L. For the question A, for which item are there at least 100 units in quantity on hand? First, we create on create query design. For this question, we use inventory table. Drop the item ID to the field descriptions and the quantity on hand. On the criteria, we write bigger or equal than 100. Then we click run. So this is the answer for the question A. For the question B, what were the item numbers, price, and quantity of each item sold on invoice number 103? So click on the create query design. For these questions, we use sales and sales inventory table. Drag the invoice to the field, item ID, quantity, and the sale price. On the criteria, we write the invoice number 103 and run. So this is the answer for the question B. For question C, which customer made purchase from Martinez? Provide customer name and salesperson. Show customer name only once, even if they purchase from Martinez multiple times. Click on create query design. For this question, we use customer and sales table. Drag the customer name to the field and the salesperson. Click on the show height and click on the totals. On the criteria, we write the Martinez and we run. So this is the answer for the question C. For question D, list invoice, sales date, salesperson, customer name, and amount for invoice whose amount is more than 1,500. Sort the amount from the largest to the smallest. Create another query design. For these questions, we also use customer table and sales table. Drag the invoice to the field, sales date, salesperson, customer name, and the amount. For the amount, we use descending. On the criteria, we write bigger than 1,500 and we run it. So this is the answer for the question number D. For question E, list invoice, item ID, description, sale price, list price, quantity, and compute the extension. Sale price times with quantity. For all items sold where the sale price is different than the list price. Sort the item ID in descending order. So we create another query design. For this question, we use inventory, sales, and sales inventory table. Drag the invoice to the field, item ID, descriptions, sales price, list price, and the quantity. Here, we right click and build the extension. And we select the table, sales inventory, sales price, times with quantity. Click OK. For the item ID, we select descending. At the selling price, on the criteria, we write smaller or bigger than the list price. We run it. So this is the answer for the query E. Moving to question F, compute the profit margin for each item sold. Calculate the profit margin as sales price minus standard cost divided by sales price. List invoice, sales date, item ID, sales price, quantity, and compute profit margin. Sort by profit margin in descending order. Now we create another query design. For this question, we use inventory, sales, and sales inventory table. Now we drag the invoice into the field, sales date, item ID, sales price, and the quantity. Now we need to build a profit margin. We select tables, sales inventory, sales price, minus inventories, standard cost, then divide by sales inventory, sales price. Okay. And we sort the profit margin as descending. Then we run it. So this is the answer for the question F. Moving to question G, compute the profit for each line of the invoices. Calculate the profit as sales price minus standard cost times with quantity. This invoice, sales date, item ID, sales price, quantity, and compute profit. Sort by invoice in ascending, then profit in descending order. Now we create another query design. For this question, we also use these three tables. Drag the invoice to the field, sales date, item ID, sales price, and the quantity. And we need to build the profit. Select tables, sales inventory, sales price, minus inventory, standard cost, and we times sales inventory quantity. Okay. For the profit, we sort by descending. For the invoice, we sort by ascending. And we run it. So this is the answer for the question 7. For question H, how many sales transactions were made in October? Name your output column number of sales. Now we create another query design. For this question, we just include sales table. Drag the sales date into the field. On the criteria, we write between 1st October 2018 and 31st October 2018. On the second column, we need to build number of sales, count, select tables, sales, sales date. Then we click OK. Then we need to untick the sales date. After that, we run it. So this is the answer for the question H. Moving to question I, how many customers live in Arizona? List the state and count of customer. Now we create another query design. For this question, we also use only customer table. Drag the state to the field. On the criteria, we just write easy. For the second column, we build count of customer. Count. We select tables, customer, state, and we click OK. And we total it. A group by we select expressions and untick the state and we run it. So this is the answer for question I. For question J, how many customers live in each state? List the state and count of customers. Sort the list alphabetically by state. Now we create another query design. For this question, you also use only customer design table. We drag the state to the field and we build count of customer. Count, select table, customer, state, click OK. And we also total it. For group by, we select expressions. For the state, we sort it ascending and we run it. So this is the answer for query J. For question K, how much did each salesperson sell based on sales amount? List salesperson and total amount. Sort from largest total amount to smallest. Now we create another query design. For this question, we only use sales table. We drag the salesperson to the field and the amount. And we total it. And we select sum. And we sort it by descending. We run it. So this is the answer for the question K. For the last question, how many units of each item were sold? List item ID, description, and total sold. Sort on total sold in ascending order. Now we create another query design. For this question, we will use inventory and sales inventory table. We drag the item ID to the field, descriptions, and the quantity. And we total it. And we select sums. We sort it by ascending. And we run it. So this is the answer for the last questions. That's all for my presentation. Thanks for watching.